Alright. Swear's my guy. I'm a little annoyed that the game wouldn't let me put an apostrophe in his name, so we're just gonna have to pretend that's there. But, I think he looks pretty cool. I'm gonna make him an archer. I know that's stereotypical, but I feel like it.
You were born amidst the Dalish elves, noble wanderers who refused to join the society of humans that subjugated their homeland so long ago. The Dalish travel the land in tightly knit clans, struggling to maintain their half-forgotten lore in a human world that fears and despises them. You spend your time hunting with your clanmate Tamlin in the forests, and as is sometimes the case, your quarry is not always the local wildlife.
It's a Dalish!
And you three are somewhere you shouldn't be.
Let us pass, Elf. You have no right to stop us.
No? We will see about that, won't we? You're just in time. I found these humans lurking in the bushes. Bandits, no doubt.
We aren't bandits, I swear. Please don't hurt us.
You Shemlin are pathetic. It's hard to believe you ever drove us from our homeland.
We've never done nothing to you, Dalish. We didn't even know this forest was yours.
This forest isn't ours, fool. You've stumbled too close to our camp. You Shems are like vermin. We can't trust you not to make mischief. What do you say, Lethalon? What should we do with him?
Well, I really like this opening. I think it's a good way to establish kind of the vibe for Tamlin, who is, of course, the main focus of the origin story.
Does it matter? Hunting or banditry, we'll need to move camp if we let them live.
Look, we didn't come here to be trouble. We just found a cave.
Yes, a cave. With ruins like I've never seen. We thought there might be,
Treasure? So you're more akin to thieves than actual bandits.
But I have proof. Here, we found this just inside the entrance.
This stone has carvings. Is this Elvish? Written Elvish?
There's more in the ruins. We didn't get very far in, though.
I like that the elves have a written language as well as an oral language. I know that when people think of indigenous languages, is usually just oral, but that's not the universal case. My people have a written language. It's kind of akin to hieroglyphics, you could say. There's a poet I really like. Her name is Michelle Sailboy, and she uses these glyphs in her poetry. I'll share an example.
I've seen something similar on the Keeper's scrolls. And this is all you found? Why didn't you look for more?
There was a demon. It was huge with black eyes. Thank the Maker we were able to outrun it.
A demon. Where is this cave?
Just off the west, I think. There's a cave in the rock face and a huge hole just inside.
Well, do you trust them? Shall we let them go?
I absolutely do not trust them, but the thing is, no matter what we do, the humans are going to come back and chase the clan out, so it's like a completely inconsequential decision here. If we let them go, then they get angry, and if we kill them, then they get angry. You know what, all the same, let's be merciful.
Run along then, Shems. And don't come back until we Dalish have moved on.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, shall we see if there's any truth to this story? These carvings make me curious. And if we find anything, the Keeper will want to know.
Oh yes, it sounds like a very good idea indeed. I'm sure nothing bad can happen.
Come on already, let's look for this cave. They said it was to the west.
As I'm sure you can tell already, I enjoy playing with mods. I like making mods. I like playing with mods. So if you're looking for a vanilla experience, I'm afraid you made a wrong turn here, buds. But most of my mods are like cosmetic in nature, just making the game pretty. I do have a couple of gameplay mods though. Like I have one, I'm being an archer, and I have one that makes archery a little more fun in my opinion. It's less slow. I gotta get used to these controls. I've been playing too much of Baldur's Gate 3.
Seems we must defend ourselves.
Turn and run!
It will be done.
I have beaten one!
We beat 2 of them. Do you not know how to count? Obviously, the meta reason for the Sala being placed here is for the Codex entry, but I also wonder if the humans were responsible for its death. And the reason I wonder that is because its horns are taken and its neck is sliced. And we know that humans value hollow horns like pricelessly, so they came from this direction. It just seems sketchy. About the poetry, the glyphs themselves, the writing, most of the examples of the old texts are Catholic prayers. They played a crucial role in conversation between the French settlers and my people in ye olden days.
Of course.
And so a lot of the written examples that we still have are from all these old Catholic prayers that were taught.
This must be the cave. I don't recall seeing this before, do you? There's nobody else here, and I'm not running back for help unless there's something worth making a fuss over. Come on, let's at least see what's there. How dangerous could it be?
How dangerous could it be?
It looks like the Shem was telling the truth. But these ruins look more human than elven. This place makes me nervous. I'm not sure. This looks like a very old human place. Why would they build this? And why would elven artifacts be here? Maybe some of our ancestors lived here, in caves, like the dwarves. I'll stick to roaming the land myself.
I seriously doubt that humans built this place. I think the more likely case is that it was part of Arlathan before the fall of the Empire, the quote-unquote fall. Either that, or it dates back to when the elves were chasing after Titan cores and digging underground like we saw in Dragon Age Inquisition's Trespasser DLC. When I talk about the fall, in Tevinter Nights, the story, Genetivi dies in the end. Genetivi and the other bitches are searching for Chantry stuff in Elven Ruben for some reason. And they talk about how when Arlathan fell, it literally spliced, because of the nature of it, it like spliced into different locations. It kind of melded underground or in a ruin randomly located in the middle of nowhere. And so you have all these pieces in places they make no sense to be, and it's because the Fade kind of spliced it up. I'm probably not making a lot of sense, so I will insert a quote from the book.
The Keeper said it took a long time for slavery to erase our ancestors' history. Maybe whoever lived here still wrote and spoke Elven. It does feel sinister here, doesn't it? Well, whatever it is, it won't stop me. A Dalish hunter fears nothing. This place makes me nervous. I suppose so. Hey, weren't you supposed to be assisting Master Verathorn today? How did you end up coming with me?
It's of course a mistake. They mean Master Island. Verathorn is from Zathrian's clan, but... Oh, do I want to go for that extra drama? I think I do.
I thought that might be the case. I'm glad. Let's just find whatever's here and get out. We can talk later.
Of course.
Giant spiders with their giant butts.
Prepare to die!
Prepare to die. The voice acting in this game, oh my god. Some of it's good.
Of course.
I actually think this place is a worship place for Falandine, and I'll get to that a bit later. I do just want to point out... Oh, spiders. I do just want to point out that the reused assets between the Temple of Sacred Ashes and here and other Elven ruins makes it confusing if this is supposed to be Andraste or an Elven deity. I really don't know. Don't know what the intention was.
It is some kind of trap.
Oh my god, can you hit a thing? It's a good thing I have Tamlin here. Oh, speaking of which, Tamlin, I want your bow. It's a little better than mine. I should also put on some accessories. Most of these downloadable stuff is from mages, which isn't really useful at this time, but give it to Morgan and win. Like, look at all these coffins, though. And there's also a statue that
Yes.
Tamlin identifies as being for Falandine, or the Friend of the Dead, as his name translates to. So I think that this place was a place of worship. Marthari also identifies that as the likelihood, but that doesn't rule out the case that it was also those other things.
It is some kind of trap.
Wait your fucking turn.
How'd you like them apples?
How do you like them apples?
It will be done.
Yeah, here's the statue, I mean.
I can't believe this. You recognize this statue, don't you? Back when our people lived in Arlathan, statues like these honored the creators. When the Shems enslaved us, much of that lore was lost. This looks like human architecture, with the statue of our people. Can these ruins date back to the time of Arlathan?
Some people have pointed out that the headdress on the statue kind of looks similar to that of the architect. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not.
I'd never have guessed ancient elves might have lived here. With humans. This place makes me nervous. I saw a picture of it in one of those old books the Keeper never lets anyone touch. It was one of the old gods. The Keeper called him a Friend of the dead.
Let's pretend we don't know what that means.
He was a guide who took people across the spirit land to their final rest in the beyond. But he wasn't an evil god, not like Fen'Harol, the Great Wolf. It doesn't seem right that a place so wrong would be his.
I hate the concept of the Dalish calling Fen'Harol evil. He's not evil, he's a trickster spirit, or creator, whatever you want to call him. Like trickster spirits aren't evil in nature. They just like fucking around. They do good things to do bad things. And calling trickster spirits evil is just such a Western concept. I just do not vibe with it.
Aren't you curious? We could be discovering our history. Minstrels will write songs about us. If I were to bring some valuable ancestral artifact back to the Keepers, she might forgive me for, well, you know.
Now, I want to know the backstory here. They say they were brawling, but like, what's the context?
Of course. You know I'd do anything for you. At any rate, I wasn't expecting this place to feel quite like this. Maybe this wasn't the best idea.
It's interesting to me that Tamlin senses something wrong with this place right away, like even before touching the mirror. I think that kind of leads into the belief that this whole place is tainted.
Beware, these creatures can be unpredictable.
Or it could be a reference to the dark magic going on. There are walking corpses.
I knew we could not lose! Another foe
Those walking
slain!
corpses? This place is haunted.
Alright, let's fight this demon bear. Give the new mutants a run for their money. God, please don't think I am referencing that pathetic, awful excuse of an adaptation film. I am specifically talking about the comics. That Jello animation.
Yes,
What was that thing?
very well.
Oh, here we go.
It's beautiful, isn't it? I wonder what the writing says. Maybe, but she's not here to help us. Odd that it isn't broken like everything else. Especially with that bear lumbering around in here. I wonder what this writing is for. Maybe this isn't... Hey, did you see that? I think something moved inside the mirror.
Let's get away from it then.
Hold on, I just want to know what it is. Don't you see it? There it is again. Can you feel that? I think it knows we're here. I just need to take a closer look. It's showing me places. I can see some kind of city. Underground. And there's a great blackness. It saw me. Help! I can't look away!
Oh, Tamlin, we hardly knew ye.
Can you hear me? I am very sorry.
God, imagine being Mario and like waking up to this human lumbering over you and you're tripped out as fuck. My God.
You're awake. You've the god's own luck, Lethaline. You're back at camp. Everyone is worried sick about you. How do you feel?
Worried.
I don't know. The Shem who brought you here saw no sign of him. A Shem brought you back 2 days ago. You don't remember him?
I've been here for 2 days? My God, that is a long time though. Although that's contradictory to what Duncan says later when he says Tamlin's been missing for 3 days, I think. We'll see when we get to that part.
I doubt you could have driven this one off. He was a Grey Warden and appeared out of nowhere with you slung over his shoulder. You were delirious with fever. He said that he found you outside a cave in the forest, unconscious and alone. He left you here and ran off again. The Keeper's been using the old magic to heal you.
That's such a Duncan move. Show up, drop an elf, and then leave again.
Of course. Most of the hunters are off looking for him right now. But the Keeper wanted to talk to you as soon as you awoke. Stay here. I'll get her.
I see you are awake, Dalan. It is fortunate Duncan found you when he did. I know not what dark power held you, but it nearly bled the life from you. It was difficult even for my magic to keep you alive. If he encountered the same thing you did? Yes. The Grey Warden said he found you alone outside a cave, already stricken. Duncan thought there may have been darkspawn creatures inside the cave. Is that true?
Well, there was a blighted bear, but...
Walking corpses? Dark magic, but not darkspawn. I know not what the other creatures might have been. What else did you find? What is the last thing you remember? A mirror. And it caused all this? I have never heard of such a thing in all the lore we have collected. Oh, I was hoping for answers when you woke, but there are only more questions.
This is
And
a Dragon
Tamlin
Age
remains
game.
missing. He is more important than any lore in these ruins. If he is as sick as you were, his condition is grave. Duncan returned to the cave to search for Darkspawn, but we cannot rely on him to look for Tamlin as well. We must go ourselves, and quickly. Do you feel well enough to show us the way, Dalan? Without you, we will not find it.
Well, if I don't, the story won't progress much, so...
I am relieved to hear it. I am ordering the clan to pack the camp so we can go north. Take Merrill with you to the cave. Find Tamlin if you can, but do it swiftly. If there is any truth to what Duncan said, then Darkspawn may show up in these parts soon. We must get away from that horde. But that is not our only concern. Did you encounter any other humans out in the forest?
None that I recall. I like that you can straight up lie to her.
Although you hurt no one, these humans roused their nearby village against us. As everywhere, our people are not welcome here. We have stayed too long, and we must move on, quickly.
See, it doesn't even make a fucking difference.
Our clan could slaughter their entire village if we cared to, but at the cost of bringing their king's rage down on our heads. These people are simple and have simple fears. This is their land, so we will go peacefully.
This is their land, she says. Like, that's completely contradictory to Tamlin in the opening, where he rightfully talks about, or makes mention of, or references, whatever you want to say, the fact that you don't have ownership of land. I mean, you only have ownership in the sense that you care for it. Like, I'm calling bullshit that the Dalish would acknowledge human ownership of land.
Go quickly, for Tamlin's life hangs in the balance.
Well, let's level up. Get a special ability. Do I have any? Deep mushroom. I have one. Let's collect some things.
So you have returned to us, Dalen. We are grateful you are whole and well. So you should be. What were you two thinking, wandering into that cave without first coming to tell the Keeper?
I'm sorry. It wasn't an option.
Tamlin's idea, huh? And you've no mind of your own. I suppose your youth can be forgiven. Sadly, Tamlin pays the price. Losing you would be a terrible crime, Dalen. You belong to more than just yourself, or do you not remember? Would you even know the reason behind your efforts? I wonder. Let us tell these children of the fall of the Dales. You can honor me by sharing in the telling.
I really like this method of exposition. It's more engaging than just having it in a codex entry.
Come then. Help me as I go along. Children, hear of the fall of the Dales. Hear the tale of what makes you Dalish. Would you care to begin, Dalen? Yes, slaves to a terrible empire the humans built on the darkest magic. When it fell, we became free. We built a homeland in the Dales, worshipping the creators, and rebuilding the culture and history we lost in our long years of slavery. They were resentful, because we would not worship their gods, and because we put our people first. Over the years, their nations grew cold toward the Dales. In their eyes, we were blasphemers and cruel tyrants. And so the Dales fell. They took our lands and dispersed our people, forcing us to live in their cities and abandon our gods. But many of us refused to relinquish our ways. We instead chose to scatter to the winds, wandering the lands. To survive and preserve our culture, the clans stay apart until the day the Elvenan have a homeland once more. We are the Dalish, keepers of the lost lore, walkers of the lonely path. Thank you for your forbearance, Dalen. You remember both the tale and the Oath of the Dales perfectly. I will let you get back to your tasks. I pray you find Tamlin quickly.
No, let's just talk for a second here, bud.
Now that's something I rarely hear. Of course. Ah, yes. The Lost City. Before the Shemlen enslaved us, even before they came to this part of the world, our people lived in glorious Arlathan. Legends say that our ancestors were immortal, and we possessed magic the Shemlen could only dream of.
Do no books record our history? I mean...
When the humans enslaved us, they took away our language, our history, and our immortality. We quickened to the pace of life, and retained nothing of ourselves. We were slaves for so long, that even when we became free, there was little for us to recover. If books still exist, I do not know of them.
That is completely contradictory to A, the MacGuffin of Witch Hunt, which is an old book about the Alluvians, and B, literally the intro of this very origin, Tamlin talks about scrolls that the Keeper has in this very clan. My god, Gator, can you keep something straight, bud?
Perhaps they have no choice. Dalish clans are scattered to the winds and rarely gather, which makes us difficult for any organized effort to destroy. And why bother? We have nothing they want. No land, no treasure, and we always move on, allowing no one to grow too angry with us. Some might see this as cowardly, but we are proud. We are the last, and we will survive. Then I'm sure you have much to do, unless you've other questions.
No, that's... oh well, let's ask about this.
I've never heard of such a thing. But in the days of ancient Arlathan, we lived free and spread far across the continent. We were as varied as the Shemlen, though fewer in number. Perhaps some of us lived in caves then, but all knowledge from that era is lost. Of course. May the gods guide your path, Dalen.
Thank the creators. We were sure we'd lose you last night.
About the whole book thing, even if there were no books, I really want to stress that doesn't make a culture
Very well.
less civilized, whatever you want to say. People view written knowledge as the epitome of civilization, and that's such a subtler view. There are 13,000 years worth of oral histories, and they still are with us today, so...
Yes.
It will be done.
Anithara, it's good to see you recovered. They fare well. The Keeper called for the clan to move on, and they will be ready to take us. One is heavy with calf, but it shouldn't be a problem. May I ask of Tamlin's fate? Some say the clan will leave before we find him.
They're already talking about it, like, they just straight up give up on Tamlin.
The Hala mourn our fallen. No sound is more heart-wrenching than their mourning cry. At least they won't be crying over you. They are quite fond of you. I admire them for their strength and pride. They are equals, not servants like the Shemlin horses. At any rate, I do not envy the Keeper's decision. I'll pray for Tamlin's safe return.
I'm glad you survived. Losing 2 of our young would be a great blow to the clan.
Let's talk to Paul.
Hello there.
Ah, it's good you're well. You weren't here when Paul arrived, were you?
I've heard of you. Everyone is talking about you and the other missing hunter. A Grey Warden brought you back here. That obvious, is it? I just found your camp a couple of days ago. A lucky thing. I heard rumors in a nearby human village that a Dalish camp was close, and I hope to find your hunters in the forest.
You were fortunate I didn't shoot you, Paul. I thought you were a Shem, and a bandit at that. You're not the first city elf to rejoin his people. I'm sure you'll find life among us more satisfying than with the Shems, if no less harsh.
In the alienage, we hear terrible stories about the Dalish. They aren't true, right?
It's really sad how the misunderstanding between the Dalish and City Elves, it goes both ways. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure if I recall correctly, there's an alternate dialogue path where Junar straight up calls Paul a flathead right in front of him. Like, talk about rude much. And, it's just unfortunate. That being said, I mean, we have an example right here of them taking in a City Elf as one of their own. And there are plenty other examples of this camaraderie. I think it varies from clan to clan and city to city.
Thank you. The clan has been very kind and welcoming. I never expected it to be like this.
There's nothing back here.
I'm glad you've recovered. Once we find Tamlin, we can concentrate on the journey northward.
Thank you for the bow, Master Island. It is light and sturdy, much better than the one I made last year.
You are more than welcome. My father made it and used it in battle against the Clane tribes.
I will carry it with honor.
That's another case of lore not adding up, so we're not going to get into that conversation. But can I have a bow too, bud?
One of my own crafting, perhaps? It may not have a history, but you'll provide one for it soon enough, yes?
Yeah, I'm about to sell it right back to you.
Of course. Take whatever you need.
think I'll keep one of the clan shields as a memento. Ooh, there's another one.
Losing Tamlin would be a bad sign. He's one of our most promising hunters.
By the creators, it is so good to see you whole and well. I was so worried. I can't help it, dear. I've raised you since your poor mother died. I've been outside the Keeper's tent the whole time. I have never been so relieved as when I heard you would pull through. What happened? Everyone says Tamlin may be dead. That's awful. I know how much you and the lad care for each other. It was always my hope that you two... Well, let's not dwell on it. You must be more careful. Your mother and father, may they rest in peace, would be horrified to see you take such risks.
Well, by the story you tell, they were taking plenty of risks themselves, so it comes honestly.
What happened to them is a sad tale, and it's in the past. Reopening old wounds benefits no one.
Yeah, it's also more inconsistent lore, but I want that heirloom.
True. Perhaps you're old enough to hear this, though it hardly seems like the right time. Very well. If I do not tell you now, you'll only wonder. Your mother was a hunter, one of the finest, and your father was the keeper before Marithari. He was with us for a very long time. Your mother was from another clan, and her elders did not approve of the match. She and your father had to meet in secret. One day, bandits caught them alone in the forest. Your father was killed, but your mother escaped. Yes, but also city elves, too. Those of our kind living with humans do not hold to the old ways. Your mother held to life long enough to give birth to you. But grief racked her heart. One night she simply walked into the moonlight and never returned. The clan decided not to discuss this around you, lest it poison your heart with sadness. Our people have learned to live with much sorrow. It seemed only right that we not dwell on it. Your mother did leave you a gift. Something of your father's for you to have once you were older. Perhaps the time has come.
I really like that line about sorrow.
Take this key. You'll see some chests behind the storage Aravel by the Halapen. One of them was your mother's. Its contents are yours if you wish.
It's a nice little gift. Alright, let's talk to Veneral and then Meryl.
Is the Keeper sending you back to that cave to look for Tamlin? Yes. The clan's been talking about it since that Grey Warden brought you back. I want to go with you. Keeper Marithari probably won't approve, but I can help find Tamlin. Tamlin's my friend too. I want to help find him. If Meryl can risk it, so can I.
I mean, fair enough.
Good. I'll follow you, just to make sure Meryl doesn't go running to the Keeper when you tell her I'm coming.
Well, that's what I'm about to do, so...
I see you have not left with Meryl yet. Is there something you need? Fenarel? Are you certain? I'm already putting Meryl at risk. I don't want to lose you too.
I want to help, Keeper. If we can find Tamlin, it's worth the risk.
Very well, then. You have my permission. And thank you for asking for it.
Daranan is a good boy. God, the noises Dala make.
Can we trust this Grey Warden? How do we know he didn't hurt
I miss
Tamlin?
Tamlin. I want him to come home.
The
Keeper told me I'm to accompany you back to those caves. As her apprentice, I may see something you missed. But our main objective is to find Tamlin, of course. We must make haste. He may not have much time.
Let's get going then.
That depends on the Keeper. I thought we're supposed to go alone. That's good enough for me. Now, are we ready? Then let us make haste while daylight lasts.